My name is Emily Carter, and the night my husband threw me out of our house, I was 7 months pregnant. It happened on a Thursday. I came home from work exhausted but happy. Earlier that day, I had heard my baby's heartbeat during a routine appointment. I even brought home a small pair of blue baby socks to surprise my husband, Ryan. When I walked into the kitchen, Ryan was sitting at the table staring at his phone. "Hey," I said with a smile. He barely looked up. I thought he was having a bad day. I had no idea my entire life was about to change. I placed the socks on the table. "For oh, little guy," I said. Ryan looked at them for a few seconds. Then he looked directly at me. His eyes were cold. "Stop pretending," he said. I frowned. "What? I know the baby isn't mine." For a moment, I honestly thought he was joking. Then I realized he wasn't. The next hour felt like a nightmare. No matter what I said, Ryan wouldn't listen. He accused me of cheating. He claimed he had evidence, but whenever I asked to see it, he refused. Finally, he pointed toward the front door. "Get out." I stared at him. "Ryan, I'm pregnant. I don't care." Those 3 words hurt more than anything. I packed a small bag and left. That night, I slept inside my car. I cried until I had no tears left. The next morning, I called my older sister, Sarah. She lived 2 hours away. When she heard what happened, she immediately offered me a place to stay. By noon, I was on the road. For the next 3 days, I tried to focus on surviving. I met with a lawyer. I contacted my doctor. I started preparing for a divorce I never wanted. Then, on Monday morning, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. "Emily Carter?" A man asked. "Yes, my name is David Reynolds. I'm calling from Reynolds Private Trust. I had never heard of the company." "Okay, ... I'm sorry for contacting you unexpectedly, but we have been trying to locate you for several weeks." My stomach tightened. "What is this about?" There was a brief pause. "It's regarding the estate of your grandfather, William Carter." I nearly laughed. "My grandfather died years ago." "Yes, ma'am. However, several assets remained in trust and have only recently been released." I sat up straighter. "I don't understand." "According to the trust documents, you are the primary beneficiary." The room suddenly felt very quiet. "What does that mean?" "It means the estate belongs to you." I swallowed. "How much?" Another pause. "Approximately $48 million. I thought I had misheard him. 48,000. "No, ma'am." His voice remained calm. 48 million. For several seconds, I couldn't speak. I had grown up believing my grandfather was an ordinary rancher. Apparently, that wasn't true. Over decades, he had quietly purchased land across Texas. Later, all had been discovered beneath several properties. The value of those holdings exploded. My grandfather never lived like a wealthy man. Most people had no idea how much he was worth, including me. "There is one condition," David continued. My heart sank. Of course there was. "You must attend a verification meeting in Dallas. Within 30 days too. Complete the inheritance process. That's it. That's it." After the call ended, I sat in silence. My entire future had changed in less than 10 minutes. Then something else occurred to me. Ryan. Why had he suddenly accused me of cheating? Why now? The timing felt too perfect. A week later, I flew to Dallas. The law office occupied the top floor of a downtown building. Inside, the attorneys explained everything. The inheritance was real. The trust documents were real. And then one attorney said something that made my blood run cold. Several months ago, a man contacted our office asking questions about potential beneficiaries. I looked up. What man? The attorney opened a file. Ryan Carter. I froze. My husband. My husband had contacted them months before throwing me out. The attorney continued. He claimed he was assisting with family financial planning. I felt sick. Ryan knew. he had known long before I did. Suddenly, everything made sense. The accusations, the hostility, the sudden divorce. He wasn't angry. He was preparing. Somehow he believed ending the marriage before the inheritance arrived would benefit him financially. But he had made one mistake. He moved too early. The inheritance wasn't marital property. Legally, it belonged only to me. The attorneys completed the paperwork. 2 weeks later, the funds were transferred into a protected account. For the first time in my life, money would never be a problem again. But something still bothered me. I wanted the truth. I hired a private investigator. 3 weeks later, I got it. Ryan wasn't just planning a divorce. He was having an affair. The relationship had been going on for nearly a year. The investigator provided photographs, messages, and financial records. Ryan had spent thousands of dollars on vacations, gifts, and luxury hotels, using money from our joint accounts. I felt angry. Then I felt relieved, because now I finally understood. The man I married had disappeared long before he threw me out. The investigation uncovered something else. Ryan's business wasn't doing nearly as well as he claimed. In fact, he was drowning in debt. Several commercial projects had failed. Loans were overdue. Creditors were demanding payment. Suddenly, his obsession with my inheritance made perfect sense. He wasn't looking for a wife. He was looking for a rescue plan. A month later, Ryan called. It was the first time we'd spoken since the night he kicked me out. "Emily," he said softly. I almost laughed. His voice sounded completely different. Gentle, friendly, concerned. The performance would have been impressive if I hadn't known the truth. "What do you want?" I made a mistake. Of course. Now he had. I wasn't thinking clearly. I remained silent. "Can we talk?" "No." "Emily, please." "No." Then I hung up. He called again, and again, and again. I blocked the number. A week later, he appeared outside Sarah's house. When I opened the door, he looked nervous. "I love you," he said. The words meant nothing. Not anymore. "You threw your pregnant wife out of the house." "I know." "You accused me of cheating." "I know." "You planned all of it." His face changed. For a moment, I saw panic. Not guilt. Panic. Because he realized I knew everything. The inheritance. The investigation. The affair. All of it. "Emily, listen." "No." I closed the door. That was the last conversation we ever had. The divorce moved quickly after that. The court ordered Ryan to return. Funds he had improperly transferred from our accounts. His affair became part of the legal record. Several business partners distanced themselves from him. Within a year, his company collapsed. I heard through mutual friends that he eventually sold his house and moved out of state. I never contacted him. I never wanted revenge. Life handled that part on its own. 3 months later, my son was born. The moment I held him, everything changed. All the fear, all the pain, all the uncertainty. It suddenly felt worth surviving. I named him Ethan. The first few years weren't always easy. Being a single mother never is. But I had support. I had security. Most importantly, I had peace. The inheritance allowed me to start a foundation that provided housing assistance for women escaping abusive relationships. Thousands of families eventually received help. Every time I met one of those women, I remembered the night I slept in my car. I remembered feeling completely alone. And I promised myself no one I could help would have to feel that way. 5 years later, Ethan started kindergarten. That morning, I walked him to class holding his tiny hand. He looked up at me and smiled. A simple little smile. The kind children give without realizing how powerful it is. As I watched him run toward his classroom, I thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the fear, the unexpected inheritance, the new beginning. And I realized something important. The worst night of my life had also been the beginning of my best one. If Ryan had never thrown me out, I might never have discovered the truth. I might never have found the strength I didn't know I possessed. I might never have built the life standing in front of me. People often ask whether I regret marrying him. The answer is no, because every wrong turn eventually led me here, to my son, to my freedom, to a future that belongs entirely to me. And if there's one lesson my story taught me, it's this. Sometimes the people who try hardest to break your life apart accidentally push you towards something far better than anything they could ever take away.